feeling comfortable in your own skin, but your time, your environment, and everything that happens around you. Welcome back to the Corey Boutwell podcast. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about deep diving into people pleasing, yes men, and being a nice man. And if you're in that position where sometimes you think to yourself, fuck that, I don't want to be that guy anymore, this is going to be the podcast to listen to. Make sure you listen to the whole way through to the end, because there is practical tools and tips here that you can use in order to get there. So I want to talk about my story first in regards to people pleasing. Yes, hand up, I was a serial people pleaser, and that shit sucked. Oh my goodness. So one part of people pleasing, I believe, come from like my own journey was a lack of purpose. I had a lack of purpose and I didn't exactly know where I wanted to go with life. And I thought my story was, and this works differently for everyone and I'll get into those, but my story was, if I help other people and I do good for them and I help them somehow, maybe they will help me. That was the thing. So every time I try to fix someone or help someone or do something for someone, it was a subtle way of asking, oh, because I'm helping you, hopefully now you can help me, which always leads to some sort of resentment or spite and this gap of fulfillment that people can't make in regards to the demands of your friendship, right? Because who wants to be with friends with someone who all the time they're like, oh man, I owe this guy so much shit because I do so many nice things for him, or he does all this nice shit for me, but none of it is authentic and none of it is actual genuine. He just wants help from me, right? I'm going to give you guys the definition of friendship, right? And this helped me become an anti-people pleaser. And it is, friendships are based, the definition of friendship is mutual inspiration, meaning I'm friends with you because I'm friends with you because you inspire me. That's why I want to be friends with you. And you are friends with me because I inspire you. So it's okay to help each other back and forth if you gain that inspiration, right? Now, where does that come from? Well, it's like, if I'm going to hang out with someone or be friends with someone because they like badminton, right? Are we catching up because we inspire each other, or is that the only person that we like to have play badminton with, or the only person that we have that can play badminton with us? Interesting. Also, this comes down into love with your partner, right? So imagine, because it has to be friendships and relationship. Imagine it's like, oh, I don't have anyone to watch movies with, so I'm going to watch them with my partner, right? Is that inspiration? Is that love? Like, what is that? It's like, no, well, I just genuinely like watching movies myself with the companionship of someone. So I am hanging out with this person because I want companionship, not inspiration, right? Which doesn't contribute to the friendship, right? The friendship happens out of how you live your life and how they live their life. And that's why you want to do things together, because it's like, wow, being around you inspires me, right? This is Friedrich Nietzsche definition, and I absolutely love it. That's one, right? So, and I didn't know that, that was even there, or that other people were inspiring me or not. I just knew that I was trying to hang around inspiring people and I would try to do everything that I could for everyone else, so hopefully they could help me or I could get some inspiration back, right? And how I turned it around, like my own people pleasing, was I just solely dedicated to becoming the best version of myself. I said, fuck everyone else, right? I will disregard, drop everyone else like the drop of a hat. I was very savage with it, right? That was the attitude. I'll love everyone and I'll help them to the best of my ability that doesn't self-sabotage the needs for what I'm doing for my own mission and goals, right? So the first thing that I had to do was get a goal, right? I had to focus on my purpose. I was like, what is my purpose? What is my meaning? Why am I alive? What do I want to do? Because there's so many different things that we need to do, and we have this feeling of what we need to do, but it's really hard to get clear on what we want to do. And a lot of people, when you say exactly what you want, get triggered, right? And you can say, look, I want a business that makes $5 million a year, $1 million a month, whatever it is, straight to one of your friends' faces if you're not at that level yet, and watch their body reaction. If they get and they go like a little bit like quiet or a bit weird of you saying what you want, that is a projection, because they are jealous because they can't say what they want, right? They don't feel they want what they want. And you can be in that position as well. I've been in that position heaps of times where people have said something and I've just been like, oh, damn. I'm like, wow, I need to want more, right? But having that thought in your brain, I think, is extremely beneficial. So the one was I found my purpose and I understood okay, what are my goals in order to get to my purpose? It's building a brand, building a podcast, making sure that I'm building a team, I'm speaking, I'm getting outside my comfort zone. Like, I didn't know how to do any of these things, right? I just went and figured them out. I was just like, okay, I'm going to use my problem solving skills to make sure that I do that, right? And then you start people pleasing in business to yourself sometimes. But let's not talk about that here. That is for another episode, guys. But essentially, so the first thing is having a goal, disregarding everyone else so that you can focus on yourself. And when you do want to help anyone else and it is genuine, you're doing it on your own time, in your own terms, and you're just not convincing yourself that that is the case, right? And I learned this from my dad, because when I saw my dad in business, he would people please to everyone. He's always chucking in discounts. He's always trying to help everyone else. He's always handing out or giving people, because he has this genuine big heart, free things and all this other stuff to help people get ahead. I remember he let his mate borrow one of his cars. His friend got a speeding fine. He wrecked all the interior of the car because he had like smoker's hands or whatever, and like rubbed against the interior of the car, and like was dirty from work, and it was gross. And Dad never did anything about it. He ended up paying the speeding fine and whatever it was. And I was just looking at him like, you little bitch. And I was like, you little bitch. And then he would overcommit to his friends and all these things at work, so he had no time with the kids. And now he like has this huge regret that he feels all this shame around not spending as much time with the kids. But obviously it's all forgiven for him, but he did not know how to set a boundary, right? And this is the thing that I want to talk about, because setting the boundary is so important, right? Because essentially what people pleasing looks like is anytime it's giving people discounts is one. It's giving people discounts for your service. It's always offering extra. So maybe they say something and you're like, oh, to get them across the line, I'll do an extra this with them. I'll give them this thing for free. I'll do this, so that they jump on. People pleasing is also needing to confirm with your partner every time you got to do something. That's people pleasing. You may not think it is, because you're like, I want to be considerate of her. And that may be considerate, but a man knows how to say no extremely well, with like regardless of how him or anyone else feels, for the better of himself and the community, right? So even when you're in a relationship and you go, oh, I know my partner's not going to be happy about this certain decision that I want to make, but I want to make it, so she can be angry as much as she likes during this time, and I will prove to her through action that I was right. You know what I mean? That I was right. And that for her is actually reassuring, because she's like, oh, I know that he knows how to say no. Because women unconsciously are always trying to get you to say yes, get you to control, to see how much control you, to see how much control they have over you. And when they get control over you, they become unattracted. They have the power, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but what happens is it just proves to her that if she can manipulate you, the world can manipulate you. So it's like, that's where you get shit tested by your partner. I don't know if you know those things, but anytime that you get tested and you say yes and you fall, under that category, you've just failed. And that is not to say to be inconsiderate. You must be considerate of your partner and tell them. But it's having the courage that's like, hey, I see this thing. This is what I want to do. And this is the decision that I want to make. And I'd like you to respect me. And I'm considering you by letting you know before I make this decision. People pleasing looks like hiding that shit, right? People say, oh, I can't tell them this and I can't say that, right? That's a weakness. That's projecting that other people are weaker than what they come across, and that you need to soothe them in order for them to not feel bad about a certain situation, right? And that could be, for example, let's say you had to spend, your electricity bill was double, right? And you paid it without telling her, right? But your agreement was that you both look at the bills together and pay them together, and then somehow you go and hide it because you're like, shit, I bought a new ice bath and a sauna, and now the agreement's going up. I don't want to make her feel bad, and the bills are going up, and I don't want to get rid of the ice bath and sauna because I really like them being there, so I'm going to hide it. I'm not going to tell her, even though we agreed to talk to each other about it, right? That would be some sort of people pleasing. That's like, no, I'm doing this to make her feel better, but really it's not doing anything. Instead of going like, hey, just letting you know the electricity bill looks like this, it's gone up because we've got this, and this. I want to keep the ice bath and the sauna regardless. Just letting you know, right? And that's being able to speak, your truth, and not people please in the way. And then you might go, okay, well, instead of doing that, what I'll do for her is I'll give her a massage. I'll go do the shopping. I'll clean the house. I'll do these other things to make her feel better because I feel guilty about something. Right? So this is what people pleasing looks like, right? So it is to your partner. It's also to your friends. Like anytime your friends like need some help or are doing anything, and you go, yeah, I'll come on the weekend to do that. I'll come on the weekend to do this. And that usually comes from a lack that no one's going to love me unless I help them, right? I my friends don't want to be friends with me unless I help them, and they will never acknowledge me unless I do things for them. So I'm going to do as much as I can for them so that they can be friends with me. What that looks like is this as a friend. You're coming in and just slowly and surely like, oh, come here for a cuddle, come here for a cuddle. And then, right? That is impossible expectations for a friend to make. And it makes people feel quite uncomfortable. And it's not genuine. That is the whole, I'm trying to fix you, or so that you can fix me, please, right? That's what that's about. So that's essentially what it comes down to, personal, like, people pleasing. So this is how you're going to input boundaries, right? My people pleasers. This is what you can do about them, right? You're going to have your non-negotiables. You find your purpose, you get clear on your goal, and then you want to map out your non-negotiables, right? And this is, okay, I can say yes to people, I can help them in these time frames, and I can make people good and try to get my own validation under these circumstances, right? But you got to create that for yourself. And a real good way of looking at it is, okay, what boundaries do I need to implement, right? The boundaries you need to implement are intellectual, they're emotional, and they're in your body, right? In regards to your time. So the intellectual boundaries all come around what you talk about, your freedom of thought, what you can say, your confidence to say, I don't like it when you talk about that certain topic because that makes me feel angry or frustrated because these are my beliefs, right? Even if there is heaps of people, even if there's a small group of people and they're all talking about one thing or bitching about someone, and you go, okay, this is my current belief. So intellectually, it's being able to say what you want to say and talk about what you want to talk about in a way where you're not projecting, making people feel bad or trying to manipulate them to get something from them, right? This takes a little bit of skill and a little bit of finesse. And the technique that you can use for this, I believe is best, is pre-framing, right? So a pre-frame in communication is just letting people know of your intentions before talking about them. I'll do this when I'm coaching people and set the standard, right? So when I'm coaching people, I'll say, hey, I'm about to coach you and I'm asking you questions. And then I'll say, hey, I'm teaching you guys now. And then I'll go and teach something. I'm like, hey, this is like some advice that's unsolicited as a friend that I don't know of, but if you take it, I think that it's going to work really well for you. This is intuitive advice. So this is like pre-framing for people my intentions, right? So when it comes to the intellectual thing, if people are saying something that you don't agree on, if there is some sort of freedom of thought that you don't like, and you go, oh, I don't want to say this thing, that's for you to pre-frame. Hey, just letting you guys know, I want to give a little feedback on this. Hey, just letting you guys know, like, my beliefs are a little bit different from yours, and I don't want you to judge me in this, but these are my thoughts, right? So whatever the pre-frame is for you is like, hey, what's my intention with what I'm going to say? And then you say that. The second boundaries is emotional boundaries. This is how you feel about something, right? And this essentially in your emotional boundaries is how comfortable you are with feeling emotions. You have a large range of emotions. You can feel angry, you can feel happy, and you can communicate both of them without the fear of judgment, right? So let's say, for example, you overcommit to someone and you're doing something too much for them. Hey, I just want to let you guys, I'm feeling so overwhelmed. I've overcommitted to doing this task for you. I probably did it out of some sort of wanting to be your friend and like get acknowledgement from you, but I realize that I'm just self-sabotaging myself doing this task. So I'm gonna go and do what I want to do. Sorry about that. And have them being like, oh, I completely understand how you feel. Like, it's fair enough. You don't have to. We love you anyway, right? That's best case scenario. So being able to communicate like that is really important. And it's also could be being able to communicate your negative feelings. So instead of, like, let's say, for example, someone like owes you money and you're friends with them, right? Someone owes you money and you're really close friends with them. And you want to get the money from that person, but what you do is just remain completely silent, and you get angry and resentful and spiteful at that person because they owe you money, but you haven't told them that you owe you money. You haven't reminded them. In their world, they've got 100 million other things on. The girlfriends are probably leaving them to fight there. They're trying to get their business sorted. They're trying to focus on their health. The dad's in hospital. Like, who knows what someone's going through, right? And the last thing that they're thinking of is owing you money. So it's your responsibility to remind them nicely, hey, just want you to know I'm starting to build some resentment up towards you, and I want to get rid of it because I know that you owe me money, right? And there's this, like, it could be $500, something, there's $500 there, and like, just out of principle, it's just starting to get to me at the moment, and I don't want it to get in the way of our friendship. Right? So just being able to talk about your emotions like that is extremely powerful, and that can prevent you from people pleasing so well. Third one, physical boundaries, right? So physical boundaries, having really high physical boundaries looks like I can put my arm around someone and, I can put my arm around someone gay, and I can hug someone gay and not feel any sort of discrimination, right? Because I'm comfortable in my own body. Be like, what's up, bro? You know what I mean? And hug someone who's gay and not feel anything like that. I can also do the same thing with racist or any sort of discrimination. It's like that knows that you're really comfortable in your body. And you can high five people, put your arm around someone and feel completely fine, right? Depending on where you're at. That's like comfortable in your boundaries. But where the physical boundaries get crossed, right, comes in regards to not just feeling comfortable in your own skin, but your time, your environment, and everything that happens around you, right? And being able to, you could say, talk about those things and distance yourself. So let's say, for example, if you are uncomfortable from someone, I can distance myself and I can keep that distance. Hey, you just stay there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel uncomfortable when you get close to me at this time of the day, like, whatever it is, like, you can kind of stay away. And that's a really good way of stopping people pleasing. It could be a way if someone's just a little bit too hands-on with you. You could be like, hey, like, I appreciate you, but like, I just feel a little bit awkward when you get close to me like that. Like, it's just a bit weird, just letting you know. Like, sorry about that. That's my own boundaries there. Or anytime someone comes late to something, like, hey, just letting you know I'm feeling angry and frustrated at you because like you disrespected my boundaries. When someone comes into my space late, I just really don't like that. And then if you start implementing those boundaries, right, for you, for yourself, you'll start noticing that people start crossing yours less, or you start wanting other people, you stop desiring people pleasing and doing things for others because you're like, wow, I've got so much freedom, I've got so much like more time freedom, I've got so much better thought quality, I am so much more comfortable around people because I've set these boundaries up in a way which is stopping me from people pleasing, right? So go out there, implement your boundaries, crush it. That's how you can start setting the standard with emotional fitness. And every single man needs to be using these skills on a regular basis and, you know, devoting his time to becoming the best quality man that he can be. And he can do that, become a high value man, by making sure that these boundaries are implemented. Don't end up like my dad. Like, don't be like my dad was, because he's an absolute G now. Don't be like I was. Set in your boundaries and get to the next level. And if you want me to help you do this, you can join our Set the Standard community where we're coaching you back and forth every single day, helping you become an absolute ninja and a beast at emotional fitness, communicating your boundaries so your girlfriend wants you more, you make more money in business, and you can finally get dedicated to smashing the fucking gym and building a physique, looking like a god. Big love, guys. See you in the next one.